As this year comes to a close, I wanted to share the top 10 things that I learned this year as a video production business owner. So number one is that you need structure to have success in life. And when I say life, I don't just mean business or work. I also mean when it comes to friends, family, anyone that you really have a relationship, and also your relationship with yourself. For me, I've found that I'm at my best when I know what's going to be happening on a day-to-day, and I can really plan out and think ahead. And there's a few very effective tools that I personally use. First thing I would highly recommend is Todoist. So Todoist is what it sounds like. It's a to-do list that you're able to categorize the tasks that you need to get done on a day-to-day basis and categorize them by priority and when they need to get done. I have the tasks that I need to get done this week, next week, this month, next month, and then the rest are routines or things that I still need to plan out. The thing that I really like about Todoist is it allows me to write anything down that I need to get done while I'm on my phone so I don't forget about it. It'll get sent right to my inbox, and then I can categorize those tasks that I put in my inbox throughout the day, when they need to get done, and the priority of when they need to get done. At my top priority, I have only one or two tasks that I get done. I make sure that I'm moving that needle forward in my personal and business life. And then the things below that are still important tasks, events that I have that I can't miss, that are gonna get done, but just making sure that they do get done and I'm on time for them. And then things below that aren't as important, but would be good to get done within that day if possible. And then lower priority tasks below that where extra bonus points if I can get those done. It's really good to be realistic about your goals that you're setting for yourself day to day so you feel good about getting things done. And if you ever feel like that it's not being realistic, you can always move those things to another day, whether it's that same week or maybe you realize it's not as important so you can move it to the next month or whatever it is. If you're interested in seeing another video about that, let me know in the comments below. The next tool that's really helped me a lot is actually my Google Calendar, and it seems like a simple one, but it's been a complete game changer for my personal life and business life because I'm able to be realistic about the goals and projects I can get done on a week-to-week and month-to-month basis. And this pairs really well with Todoist because Todoist integrates with Google Calendar seamlessly, so it's able to put the information that I put on Todoist on the calendar as well for certain dates and times that I need to get things done. And then that way too, when things get done, they stay on the calendar. I know where I'm at because time is the biggest asset that you can have. So if you can use the most amount of time that you can to realistically put things in place for the work that you need to get done, and then also scheduling out social things that you want to have with your friends, you can realistically block out your calendar so you make sure that you're getting those things done and you're also doing fun things with your friends and family. The next thing I learned about this year was think about how you sleep and wake up. I found some really great ways to improve waking up earlier and also waking up with more energy. And one of the ways that I've done that is using a sleep calculator to wake up at the end of your circadian rhythm cycle so you can wake up as refreshed and energized as possible. I'll link the one that I still use now, but you can use any sort of sleep calculator website to calculate when you should wake up and when you should go to bed. Essentially what circadian rhythm is 90-minute intervals while we're sleeping that brings you from light sleep to deep sleep. And when you wake up most refreshed and energized when it's at the very end of your sleep cycle. If you wake up in the middle of the sleep cycle, a lot of times that's when you feel groggy and you don't want to get up out of bed. So I highly recommend using a sleep calculator to wake up at the end of your circadian rhythm cycle so you can wake up as refreshed and energized as possible. This next thing that I learned this year was a big one and definitely still something that I'm still working on. That is saying what you mean and not beating around the bush when it comes to conflict. So a lot of times I've found myself being a people pleaser where you want to keep things light, you don't want to make anybody uncomfortable or put yourself in an uncomfortable position. But I think one of the things that I've learned this year is just trying to find your voice. Take the time to take a step back sometimes and think about what I'm saying before I say it. But I think the more that you can do that and saying the things that you really want to say instead of just trying to please someone will allow you to have a lot more comfort in the long run. Sure, it'll be pain in the short run of confronting someone about a problem that you have or something that you don't like as far as behavior goes. But once you point that out, they have the decision to change something or not change something. If things are going well, keep at it, and now you're in a more comfortable place. And if they don't, you can cut that relationship off. And that's something that you just set yourself up for long-term comfort of not having to deal with that anymore. The next thing that I've found a lot of growth in was finding partners in success. And I don't necessarily mean business partners, more so friends that you can collaborate, bounce ideas off of, and even commit to meeting with every other week, once a month. It's really important to self-reflect, and if you're able to have a partner that can do this with you, you're able to accelerate both of your learning by sharing the things that are going really well and also both of your struggles. You don't have to go through the same sort of pain alone. You can share those things and really grow together in less time than if you were to be doing those things and learning those things alone. All right, this is Editor Jonathan here. If you're getting some value out of this video so far, feel free to share this with some of your friends who would also get some value while we're still on the topic. All right, that's all. I've been really lucky to have some friends that I've been able to bounce ideas off and have these check-in calls every week or every month just to bounce ideas and see how things are going between both of us. And then the important thing is to take notes on those things that you talk about so you have it down in writing. That way you can always reference and go back, okay, here were the pain points that I had. Am I still running into these same pain points? Because that allows you to also self-reflect and see, I'm making the same mistake. What do I need to change to avoid this from happening again? And then you're able to have that other person support you along the way, and you're able to support them along the way. And it's a really great relationship for growing as a person and also as a business owner. The next thing on the list that really propelled me forward was delegating things out that didn't give me energy. I did this exercise. You draw a circle and you put the things that give you energy inside that circle and the things that don't give you energy outside of that circle. For me, it was being on set, doing camera operation, doing DP work, directing, growing the business. All of those things give me a lot of energy and are things that I'm really passionate about doing. And the things outside of that circle was things like accounting or actually editing the videos. I was on a search for about a month or two of finding an editor. I was luckily able to find my editor that I now have. Having an editor taking on all of my client projects now frees up all the time that I didn't have before that I would have been editing to do more things like being on set, creating videos like this one, things that I'm really passionate about that bring back more into the business than if I was doing stuff that I'm not as passionate about. And the great thing too is that now I have an editor that's passionate about what he does. So the edits are faster in delivery, the quality is better than I would have been able to put together, and I'm able to spend a lot less time on the overall editing process because my editor gets the videos 80-90% of the way there, and then I just need to give feedback for the 10% to do minor tweaks and revisions. So it takes me, say an hour at max, where before it would have taken me 10, 20, 30 plus hours to put together and edit a project in its totality. So if you're in the spot to start delegating that stuff out, I would highly recommend it. And it's gonna be trial and error of finding that right person and training that right person. But when you are able to find that person, it'll be so worth it and you'll really feel the effects immediately. So that's a huge thing that I learned this year. That is probably one of my biggest takeaways. For number 6, work towards things that you're passionate about. This was a really big turning point for me in this last year where I realized that I was going about projects for the monetary component of it versus really feeling inspired and moved by certain projects. And I think this has really allowed me to refocus my vision on where I want to go as a creative and as a person for years to come. And for me, that's shooting sports and documentary type content, and that's always up to change depending on what we find new passions in and what works and what doesn't work. If you find yourself in a similar position as this where you don't really know what you want to do, the first thing I would say is just try a bunch of different things out. Whether it's real estate in the video industry, weddings, different kinds of corporate work. And if you're really starting from the ground up, it's just doing this through free work or really cheap work and continuing to network with people and really develop your skills as a filmmaker and as a video creator. Once you find that thing that you're really passionate about, just go head into it. You'll find it's also where you make your best work and the work that you're most proud of. And at the end of the day, as a filmmaker and as a video creator, that's what we want to do. We want to make the best work that we can at the time and really just keep improving step by step along the way, enjoying that process. If you can make that process an enjoyable one and one that you're passionate about, highly recommend doing that and highly recommend going down that path. Next thing that I learned this year, and still something that I'm working on a lot, is trying to maintain a work-life balance, and not maybe in the way that you think of it. I've talked a lot about this topic with other people because it's been something that I've struggled with in the past, with trying to be a high achiever and feeling sometimes that I'm not doing enough, that I end up sacrificing a lot of times relationships that I have with friends or family to work harder. I think being able to take a step back and look at things and see the big picture of, I have this work, but I also have these other things that give me a lot of satisfaction and joy in life that's bigger and greater than work. I think it's a good reminder to keep that balance, but also be realistic that there's going to be busier times than others throughout the year. If you've gone to school or you're a current student, you'll know how final season is super busy in particular, because you have all these things lined up in a certain timeline and your focus has to really be in on school. So a lot of times people aren't going out partying as much, or they're not doing a bunch of fun things that they would be during, say, the middle of the semester. And it's similar to work, where you're gonna have lulls and you're gonna have busy periods of work where you'll have to really choose, okay, I gotta work hard for this next week. I'll communicate this and reschedule things with friends and family, but making sure that you don't make that a habit where you're sabotaging relationships or time to give back to yourself and to other people, making sure that that's not happening, while also being realistic with, your workload that you have. So you have the holidays come up. That's a good example of when you're gonna have less work and you can dedicate more time to spending time with friends and family. Just keeping that into perspective and really having a good balance between work and outside of work. The other thing too, when you start going down that path of finding that thing that you really like, is you'll find that you'll become more and more specialized in a role. And the more that you can specialize yourself as a business or as a creative, the more sought after you'll be in a particular niche. You'll find that with that passion, you'll make better and better work, and that will make a snowball type effect where you'll have clients that are coming at you and asking to do projects with you that are in that same space that you're making your best work in, and those inquiries will keep on coming. I have one friend in particular that does videos in the music industry and has worked with people such as Logic and Doja Cat, and the list continues on. And he started from the ground just doing these free music videos, and from there asked to do tour recaps for these different artists, and that's where he eventually met Logic and had other agencies and other artists coming at him asking for concert recaps. And he started to find that as he was doing the recaps, that's what was coming at him, and people were asking to do similar content like that. And the music videos that he was doing at first, those inquiries from small artists that he was initially looking for to work with, were starting to dissipate away, because that was the type of work that he was posting and starting to get known for again, was the concert video recaps. So if you find that really high specialization and find really great clients to develop long-term relationships with, you'll find a lot of success in finding that passion, sticking with it, and choosing your niche. A huge thing that I learned this year was to invest in myself, and not necessarily in school where I'm going to university, but things outside of school. For me, that was actually a coaching program that really expanded my mindset as a business owner to expand myself outwards to higher budget projects. Because of the course, I can confidently say that I've been able to hit the biggest budget projects and close them that I ever have been able to before. So that was a huge and very exciting accomplishment this year was being able to use everything that I used in that coaching program and apply it to my real world running and owning a video production business and seeing the effects real time. The biggest thing that you can invest in is yourself. And if you think about things in terms of stocks, for example, the most that you'll have come out of an index fund, even in a really good year like this last one, where I think the average return was around 30% or not more, something with, say, this course where I invested a few $1,000s into has been able to transform itself 10 times, if not more, because of that investment. If you're able to reinvest everything you have back into yourself to learn and shorten your learning curve and the amount of time that it takes to learn these things and learn them from courses or coaching or anything that has a large amount of value that's going to be able to help you reinvest into your business or reinvest into yourself, I would highly recommend doing that, whether it's a book, coaching course, whatever it is. The course that I joined is called The Art of Filmmaking, and it's led by Kyle Loftus, and I would highly recommend checking it out. Even if you don't end up purchasing it, I would check out the link in the description to see if it might be a good fit for you. Finally, one of the best things that I learned this year was the importance of making really good looking pitch decks. Before, I was making proposals through a software called Prospero. It was kind of clunky in design. It looked pretty good overall, but it didn't really have much customization to move things around wherever you wanted to make the proposal deck customized to the client or customized to your own branding for your production company. I think that was one thing that I changed that really elevated things to the next level. It's super easy to do too. I make all of my pitch decks on Canva, and it's super customizable and easy to put in images, swap them out for anything else, put in text, take out text, anything that you need to do to customize it to really speak to your target customer and sell them on whatever that project is. That also resulted in higher project prices. Your pitch decks that you give to clients will take you to that next level when trying to get from, $1,000 projects to $10,000 projects to $100,000 projects and above. So I think that was a huge area of growth for me this year, and just thinking more about and investing more time into pitch decks. And that's been a huge step in my journey as a video production business owner. Now, for those of you who have stuck around to the end, I have some bonus things that I've learned this year. And the first one is just being kind to yourself and not beating yourself up if you have a bad day or even a bad week, sometimes even a bad month where you're not the most productive with things. I think it's really easy, especially if you're an entrepreneur or freelancer, doing something that's outside of the typical 9 to 5. Maybe you're even juggling, a 9 to 5 with school, with also doing something within video production. That's a lot going on. And I think it's good to take a step back to look at everything that you have going on and see that it's okay if you have, an off day, off week, but it's important to get back on track and see where things are getting derailed. Pick back up on whatever those missing pieces are to realign yourself with your goals and your values and what you want to be getting done. But be patient with yourself in the process of going where you want to go. And once you reach that goal, you're always going to be aiming for new heights. So it's never over as a entrepreneur or just a person going through life. There's always going to be the next things. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy the process and the friends you make along the way, the connections you make. Think about that you deserve those things for working as hard as you do work. And I think that's been a huge part in my own journey, is trying to be less hard on myself if I'm not doing things perfectly all the time, to just keep going, keep growing, keep connecting with people, and be your true authentic self. As long as you're doing that, you're on the right path, and there's no doubt in my mind that you can be successful. So that has been the 10 biggest things that I've learned this year, plus the bonuses if you watched until the end. If you like this video, please hit that like button and comment below what you thought about this video, because it's my first time making a video like this before. If you liked it, let me know things that you like, things that you didn't like, and I'll make some improvements for the next video. Any video suggestions for next time, let me know as well, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.